Hey, friends, welcome to yet another exciting episode of Friends of the Squared Circle. As you can see, I've got Jeryn from Indy Talk joining us today, and we want to give a huge shout out to our friends out there, the Joe Monroe Show, also known as the Crander Hughes Show, Wrestling from the 313, as well as Mayhem Media for putting up with Crander Hughes shenanigans. And Jeryn, before we get into it here, we have another sponsor, and I want to surprise you with that sponsor, none other than Oliver Williams. He is now accepting bookings. Check him out on Facebook, Instagram, now X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, as well as TikTok. And don't forget to join the Mafia. Jeryn, how are you doing today?
I am doing great, man. I'm excited to be on here. I know we've talked about it for a while, and you've supported my stuff. And it's been a while since I've ever been on somebody else's podcast, probably a couple years now. So I'm excited to talk about my stuff and brag a little bit. So
there you go. Don't forget to brag, like I said. And I know you're probably upset with that sponsor of today's episode, but you know I'm a huge Oliver Williams fan, and we had to give him a plug and take a cheap shot at Indy Talk. You guys are doing great things over there, Jesse, as well. Let's just jump into that first before the wrestling memories. How did that get started for you guys?
Yeah, I guess the complete story of Indie Talk, I think at the time, we started 2 years ago. At the time, Jesse was just like one of us, just a wrestling fan. I was a wrestling fan, but kind of doing the custom figure works and going to shows. I think at the time I was going for, I think 3 or 4 years, something like that.
Okay.
And, yeah, I think one day, he friend requested me, and I was just kind of accepting friend requests because my account, it technically is just a regular account, but I was still I wanted to show off my stuff, so I was kind of letting people on. Jesse friend requested me, and then shortly after that, he's like, "Hey, I've been seeing your figure stuff. I've been wanting to just start a podcast with somebody, but not sure who, and you seem to know a lot about wrestling in the area," and talked to me about that, about just podcasting. I was like, at the time, only doing figure stuff, going to shows. And I was like, would I be a good podcast host? I was literally questioning, maybe it'd be, I thought it would it'd be fun to talk about wrestling daily or a couple times a week. So I did agree to it. And then kind of set up some stuff for what kind of show are we going to be? Just talk about wrestling or guests. And at the first, it was kind of just talking about wrestling because, nobody knew us, so it was kind of hard to get guests. And that was for the first couple times too. But
I feel that pain in my chest.
Yeah, it's the booking is difficult. So.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and we had our first show, our premiere show. I think at the time it was November of 2021. So we're just what should we talk about? Full Gear, AEW Full Gear was in Minnesota. Let's talk about that. And then the indie scene. And then I think we had a couple shows planned in between. And then one show he wasn't able to appear. So I just did a mini episode. And then I think we didn't really start having guests until January of 2022. And just from there, 2 years later, still doing our thing, had some big names on, big indie names, and we're still here. So
yeah, that's great. And you guys have your own little niche, and that's one thing that I always brag about, how you guys have your own thing. I've got my own thing. We kind of talked off camera. I want the fan perspective. You're diving into the indie scene in our area, as well as, keeping those storylines going. And that's something you should be proud of, because there's not a lot of extra coverage on that. When the MAW, Paul Verkin, let's just say, the system, they come on there and they do their thing, and it kind of helps further that story. So take that with pride. If anybody, likes to talk smack, that you're kind of helping that story progress more than you think. And, for me, again, I want the fan perspective. So when those wrestlers come on, I don't really want to, get into your lane so that I can keep the peace in a sense, even though we don't, argue or fight over anything. But when you have guests on, I try to think okay, when they're on my show, I want to try to do something different with them so it doesn't take away from your spotlight. And I don't know if I've told you this, but you guys were the top dog there, and I was like, I want to surpass. You guys were, I think, at like 544 at the time, and I'm just like, I need to get to 550. That was the driving goal, because if I didn't have that goal, what was I doing it for? So like every night I was checking it. All right, I'm at 300. All right, 200 to go to get to Indy Talk, and then you guys went up even higher. Like, oh, now I got to do 225 to get because you guys were growing at a rapid rate there, and it was crazy to see it. I'm just like, I can't catch up if they keep growing. And then by doing the vendor tables, I've had the advantage. I have the gift of gab, and then I finally, I had passed you guys by one follower. I think I'm like, I'm not saying anything till I get at least 5, because if I say it and then somebody is a bot or a troll and leaves, then I'm right back down, but it was a fun competition. It really, I gotta give you credit here, Jeryn. You were the driving force behind me to keep doing this and keep pushing. So thank you for lighting a fire under my ass. And like I told you off camera, I'm here to help you guys as well. So don't think that this is all going to go to my head, which it did. Just kidding. But you guys were the driving force for me to keep hustling, to keep grinding. So I want to say thank you. I want to put it out on the internet that you guys are the reason I've been so hungry, and I haven't stopped eating, and you guys are still growing. You're almost to 700 now, or past that, right?
I think we're a couple past 700 now.
There you go. So. Perfect. I mean, it's so crazy how fun it is to watch those numbers, as well as so stressful to watch those numbers, So, yeah. But, we got to give a shout out again to Oliver Williams, friends. He's the sponsor of this episode. And I know Jeryn just loves Oliver Williams, so I just got to give him another shout out here. But let's dive into those earliest memories. When's the first time that you got to watch wrestling?
Let's see. I believe a rough estimate of the year, I believe maybe 2009, 2010. Okay. But I wasn't, I don't think I didn't get into it by like watching TV per se, because my dad didn't really have cable wrestling. Well, he had cable TV, but not like cable wrestling. So I didn't get to watch like weekly Monday Night Raws. So I was just watching like, at the time he had like old VHS tapes.
Very nice. I love VHS.
Yeah, it is. VHS is still it's still a good times watching
VHS. It is.
Yeah. And VHS, I believe maybe WrestleMania 7 or 8. I know it was the one with Randy Savage versus Ultimate Warrior, and then Randy Savage lost and had to leave WWE for a little bit.
Okay.
And that was the first time I watched it. I was like, I mean, I can see how it was interesting. I mean, big guys body slamming each other, elbow drops, throwing each other out of the ring. That was pretty interesting. And then I think I'd gotten into it a little bit at the time. There was a thrift store around the corner from my dad's house, and went over there a couple times. I'm like, oh wait, I'm seeing this wrestling stuff that my dad showed me, and I think one of the first few DVDs that I had bought was SummerSlam 2005, and that pay-per-view was the one that got me interested. I'm like, it was literally like John Cena and I forgot what John Cena's match, but I know it was JBL and Batista. Oh yeah, John Cena and Chris Jericho for the title in 2005, and I was like, I am definitely hooked now. I gotta keep buying more of these DVDs, and this was before the network and even before Peacock.
Right.
So we were just buying DVDs, and at thrift stores they're only like $5. I was like, just keep buying them all up, watching all these.
I know a thing or two about all those damn things. Yeah, we got 3 totes.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it's just a big pile of DVDs, and I was like, what are we watching today? Let's sift through all this pile we got here. So yeah, that's pretty much my story of getting into watching wrestling.
Now, did your dad like it too, or was it just something that he had lying around? Does he get into it as well, or?
Yeah, I think back then he was a bigger fan. Now he's kind of mellowed out a little bit, but he still likes that I watch it. So he still follows it here and there. But yeah, I think at the time he was a bigger fan, and liked watching a little bit more. But yeah,
Very nice. Yeah, my dad makes fun of me for watching men run around in their underwear and body slam each other. But hey,
yeah,
Dad, I know you're not going to watch this, so I'm just going to plug it anyways. Look where I'm at now. So
mm, yeah.
I mean,
Um,
shout out to my dad. He does car shows and stuff back home. He threw my logo in there as a sponsor. I don't pay anything. So it's in a car show book, so it's kind of cool. Apparently my nephew is going to start go-kart racing. Hopefully my grandma's not watching this. I don't think she is, so we're good. She'll probably kill my dad for that. But supposedly he's going to start doing that, and they're going to slap my logo on that as well. So I mean, apparently I'm now in the racing community. Who knew?
wow.
But that's
Yeah.
pretty cool that your dad likes that you watch it, and then kind of supports obviously your show as well as like my dad does. Um, did you collect anything besides DVDs? In that early stages, did you buy the magazines or posters, anything like that for your room or?
Um, at the time, yeah, around the 2009, 10 area, I don't think I really did unless somebody like gave me like a poster or something. But I
Okay,
don't at that time I don't really remember collecting anything or really having much. I know my dad had a couple like I think they were like the Hasbro figures, so I'd like play
nice.
around with those a little bit. But yeah, I don't think my collecting years started till a couple years after that. So
Okay, we'll dive into that for sure because I know you got your other side project. I want to make sure we
mhm,
touch on that so we can support that as well. Um,
yeah.
so who are some of your earliest favorites there? I know you mentioned Cena and Chris Jericho. Did those guys stick out to you, or did you have some odd securities like a Festus or somebody like Viscera that really captivated you? I'm a Viscera fan, so internet, you can just leave me alone. I like Big Vis, so
Oh yeah. Um, yeah, yeah, definitely Cena, Jericho, Rene Dupree. I thought he had a great character in
okay,
the 2005 Rumble, staying in that 2005 era. I thought he had a great character, and yeah, I mean, of course, Taker, Kane. Uh, who are- I always try to think of ones that are like popular, so I can be like,
yeah.
oh wow, you like that guy, and
Yeah, and I
like
and I
Shelton.
was I was a weird kid, man. Like I didn't like jumping on bandwagons. I didn't like following trends.
Right,
During the Austin and Rock days, I wasn't fan. I was like, cool, there, yeah, whatever. I liked the Gold Dust. I liked Mankind. I liked Taker because they were kind of spooky. Really liked Kane when he came out because he was the little brother allegedly, and I liked Owen Hart. I liked people that a lot of people didn't like because I wanted to be different. I still like that today with sports. Apparently, Utah is going to get a hockey team, so I'm hoping that they change the name so I can finally say, okay, this is my team. I keep forgetting with the Kraken and the Golden Knights, but they're doing really well, and people are like, well, you're a fair weather fan. Well, no, they're new. That's why I jumped on the bandwagon. So Utah, if you change your team name, I'm going to be a Utah hockey fan. It's on the internet. It's going to stay there forever at the 13-minute mark. So,
oh, there you go.
but were you able to go to any live events early on, or did that kind of happen later? When did you start going to live events?
Um, yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't able to go to anything live during that time, and
Mm.
actually, it took me 10 years to go to my first WWE event,
Oh,
which I was
nothing wrong
excited
with
to.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
you got there.
which at the time I was excited to actually go to one, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah, I guess the story about going to just in general live wrestling. I started going to the indies around 2017, the same thrift store of watching or buying DVDs. The cashier, or well, I think the owner of the thrift store, she's like, I've seen you've been buying all these DVDs all the time, and you like wrestling apparently. Did you
Mm-hmm.
know there's wrestling a couple towns next door? Have you heard of that? I'm like, are you like amateur wrestling, like high school wrestling? I'm sure that happens all the time. But she's like, no, it's pro wrestling, the John Cena like stuff, something like
Uh-huh.
that. Kinda summarizing what she was saying, and I was like, oh, really? And then I was like, I thought it was interesting, and told my dad, and he's like, yeah, the owner said there's wrestling in New Market, and he's like, oh, I know where New Market is, Elko New Market, and I think you looked it up on Facebook, Elko New Market. Mitch Paradise running his first ever Under the
Okay.
Big Top 1 event.
Okay.
So, of course, Mitch Paradise at the time, 20-year veteran, started doing his annual shows just for fun in the summertime, middle of summer, and went to that. And yeah, Under the Big, if you guys haven't been to Under the Big Tops, those are awesome. They're on their seventh one now, 7 years later. And yeah, those are exciting events. It's literally just outside a bar, but it's got those big tents, or
Hmm.
it's got a big tent, and you sit there and watch wrestling. And at the time, I think that first show, of course, watching Mitch Paradise, Craven Young, a lot of those PWA Pro Wrestling America guys were there. I'm forgetting their names, but I started watching their stuff towards the end of their careers. The guys that Eddie Sharkey trained that stayed on the indies. But yeah, it was awesome going to the Under the Big Top for the first time, 2017 in Elko New Market. So
Yeah, Mitch
yeah,
Purdy, man, he is a scary guy, but
he is.
I just it it's so fun that you get to see these guys when they're in their moment, doing the craft that they love, scaring the shit out of people, and then next thing you know, you're talking to them at their table, and they're like, the coolest guys ever. Sierra, I know Sierra, such a sweetheart. She'll probably kill me if I'm putting this on the internet, but when she steps out of those curtains, I don't want nothing to do with that lady because she scares the crap out of me. And Joey Avalon is my best friend, if anybody's wondering. That is me saying that. That's right. It's on the internet, so it's true. Just like my other really good friend, Oliver Williams. There, folks. Make sure to check him out. This is a special sponsor for this episode, just for Jeryn here. Uh,
What
I got to
actually
keep
is a
plugging my boy
sponsor?
for you, but. So
Yeah.
we went to those local shows. Now, are you in North Dakota or Minnesota? I can never remember. I'm sorry.
Well, grew up in the cities of
Okay.
Minneapolis, Minnesota, but currently going to college in Fargo, Moorhead. So that's why I get access
Oh,
to
North
some of
Dakota,
the.
you got a new wrestling scene out there. I know you've been to Below Zero,
Oh,
future and past episodes with Nick, the owner of them. Great
yep.
guys out there, Below Zero. There is a couple other promotions. I don't really know them that well. I know Billings, Montana's getting a show. I believe, is it Dolph Ziggler? Whatever his new
Oh,
name he's going by is going to be appearing out there. Time
yeah.
Bomb, correct, is out that way
Yep.
a few
Time
times,
bomb
right?
also
Okay.
in
Yeah,
Fargo.
you've been to a
Yep.
few of those. I haven't been to those yet. I want to go to one of those. A mutual friend of the show here, Loopy, he owes me tacos. He owes me hot sauce. I'm surprised he doesn't owe
Oh,
me
that's
money. He's been doing that Rudos promotion. I don't know. Have you been to that one yet?
I've been to two Rudo shows before.
Okay.
Those are really entertaining. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more lucha libre base, which that's great. That's something different that they're doing. And you get a lot of big names on your show. Who are some of those big names? I don't want to spoil it for them. I want you to tell them. I know you've had TNA stars and you've had other big names on the independent scene. Who have you had so far?
Yeah, big name stars, Ken Anderson, Hernandez, Greg Gagne just a few months ago.
Oh, nice.
Uh,
I must have missed that one. I know somebody else had them on too, so I must have not seen yours.
yeah, I think they were on a couple of our friends' shows, and I was like, oh, I guess we just got a bunch of interviews from Gagne in the
That's pretty
Minnesota
sweet.
scene. And yeah, who are other? We've had Eddie Sharkey on one time. He's kind of you would have to get his own phone number just to contact him because of
Mhm.
course he doesn't do social media. So it's
Right.
like, how do we
That's a
figure
big
this out?
name, and
It
people
is.
probably say, "Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't heard of him," but if you know pro wrestling, like a lot of us do in this, little community of ours, that's a huge name, and that's a huge get. That's like
Yeah.
a Ric Flair name right there, Jeryn. That's impressive. I mean, again, like I'm not trying to blow smoke up your butt, but you're making big waves over there at Indie Talk. I mean, you got a lot of big names on that show. I mean, the only big names that I've had are like Darren Corbin, Eric Cannon, as well as our other friend Oliver Williams. He just keeps popping up today, Jeryn. I don't know what's going on. There must be a glitch on my screen, but
Must have paid
um,
you to do
no, he
that.
don't pay me nothing. I'm his best friend too. But yeah,
Oh,
I mean, you're doing really good stuff over there, you and Jesse, and it's always entertaining to see, when the wrestlers come on and argue with amongst themselves. You've also had on another tag team that I'm scared of, Ghetto Gear Solid. I
Oh,
almost
yeah.
hid under my vendor table at a local show because I didn't want to, catch any heat. You'll have to check them out if you want to know what that means. But yeah, I wanted to hide under my table when they were walking around setting up because I was like, I've been talking shit on the internet to Kevin Hawk and Ghetto Gear Solid,
Yeah.
and when it comes time to put up or shut up, I hid.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
but yeah, so let's jump into that other hobby of yours here quick. Go ahead and brag about that. Tell the folks what you do on the side there besides being a podcast host.
Oh, yeah. So, 2015 decided to get into custom action figure stuff. A couple people probably, I mean, I don't know how many people are familiar with like customizers on Instagram or even like stop motion guys, but I had 2015. I think it was around the time I actually got my first iPad. My mom's like, "Yo, you can have an iPad." I'm like, "Yo, internet, YouTube, let's figure out what the internet's all about." What kind of wrestling can I watch on here? And then
Right.
yeah, got into watching like custom channels like there's a channel called My Damn Toys. He does some great custom work.
Nice.
Um, uh, I can't remember. Yeah, a couple other good customizers, and then also watching like stop motion, like No Limits Wrestling. They do great stop motion work that I was getting interested into, and
Very cool.
yeah, I got into custom work, and I was like, "Oh, I'm a WWE fan. Let's make some WWE customs." So I was making like, well, actually, the original customs. It wasn't even like paint and Mod Podge. It was like markers and paper, and I was like sticking painted or no markered paper onto figures and just like, oh, I
Gotcha.
guess they got gear now. He went from his WCW to his TNA just because I put paper on him and red and black marker on there. And then I kept watching more. I'm like, I should probably really do it and
Hmm.
make a good product. So like using paint and then Mod Podge and started creating some good stuff. Funny thing is, I've never technically completed my first ever custom painted action
Oh, okay.
figure.
Okay.
I I was gonna make a custom Will Ospreay around 2018. He had like this orange gear. I created it and then like somehow never finished it for some reason. I've never gone back to it. Maybe I'll go back and create that gear,
There
maybe
you
in
go.
an elite figure because the original figure I painted on is kind of just destroyed now with so much paint that's on there. So yeah,
Gotcha.
I've never created my first ever painted custom action figure. That's a fun fact of the day there. But um,
How
yeah,
many of
good
you? How many
WWE.
of you created so far since that first one?
Oh, uh,
Ballpark's fine. Don't
probably
got to be precise. You know the internet.
yeah, probably with WWE and the Indies, probably 30 or 40 now.
Nice. All right.
So
Yeah, I've seen some of them. I don't want to give any away. So, if you have I know you said you got something to show. If you want to, like I said, this is you to brag. So, plug everything, show everything. You know, can't just talk about Oliver Williams all night.
yeah, as much as we would like to secretly, I don't know. No.
All right,
Yeah.
23-minute mark. I can't wait to show him that one. No, just kidding.
Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, so WWE customs, and then 2020, of course, COVID, not much to do. Got into
Hmm.
indie figures, started doing Mitch Paradise customs. A couple of the indie guys, one of them, my guy right here, Mr. Leonard Literacy, the man that loves
Nice.
books. We both know Leonard Literacy. He's 20 year or something around
Mm.
there, veteran
Yep.
as well, and doing great stuff. The traditional black and white from a few years ago. What else I got? This big bright yellow guy right here. No, he's not Big Bird, but he is El Bano,
Okay.
big
Yep.
wrestler. Got the flag on the back as well. This was really fun. Probably the most yellow I've ever used on an action figure. Um,
How long does a custom usually take you to whip together?
oh, I guess without distractions and without school, I would probably say maybe around a month, I would say,
Okay,
if I really put time into it. So,
very nice. Okay.
and then one back in the WWE custom days, custom '09 Jeff Hardy with the green and
Oh, nice.
the
Yeah.
green and black paint. So, yeah, it's the couple of those guys, and then of course I started selling around the 2021 time. First one I sold was a Moses Mayhem, and I think I have my third one that I worked on here around similar to the first one I did as well. But yeah, Moses Mayhem, first ever sold figure that I sold to Moses, and yeah, this Moses figures take a while because camo that's hard to
Yep.
paint, and then sculpted shirt, and then apparently Bubba Ray Dudley just really looks like Moses Mayhem or vice versa. So that was this is
That would
a
be
good
a street fight right there. I mean,
yeah,
that would be a physical match.
it was.
Man, for sure. Yeah, got goosebumps thinking of that bad boy. So now,
Yeah.
I know you do the customs, but when it comes to your other type of figures, are you kind of a guy that keeps them in the package? Do you let them breathe, as they say? What's your SK, or what's your preferred method of collecting?
Well, I think in the beginning, I used to be the guy that if I was shopping online, I'd buy two figures. So I'd buy one to keep
Okay.
it in the package and then one to keep it out of the package. But then after a while, I'm like, oh, just buying two figures, one to sit. And I was like, I'm a collectible, but I'm not the guy that's going to like keep it in the box or display it everywhere. And
Hmm.
I don't know, I guess never got into it a whole lot. So I was just like, I just really wanted to just play with the action figures, I guess. I just wanted to do that. And then
Hmm.
also figure photography. It's cool to take pictures of figures
Yep.
in the ring and get some cool photos out there. So
Have some of those
yeah,
dream
definitely.
scenarios set up. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, definitely an open package wrestling figure kind of guy. So,
Yeah, you can see behind me right now. My Funko Pops are in the box just because we're planning on moving eventually, and I don't want to have to like figure out how to get it all put together. But once we get a place where I know we're going to stay, that stuff's coming out of the box. I won't open my Davari figures just because it's the only one he has in the line. I do want to get them signed, so I want to kind of keep those. They're beat up, they're placeholders till I get nice pristine ones, but then I'll get those signed. So if they get a little beat up, to me, it's not a big deal. So, but mine will eventually breathe. You can see in the corner, here we go, backwards in the camera. I got a bunch of figures just kind of crammed in that little space. They're Warriors of Virtue. It's basically Ninja Turtle type thing, but they're kangaroos. Look it up, folks. It's a horrible, great movie. But eventually those will come out. I'll have a nice display with them holding the VHS or next to the VHS. Hopefully I can find some more of that merch to kind of go with it. My Ninja Turtles, my Jurassic Park, and Warriors of Virtue. Like I said, if you haven't seen it, it's horrible, but to me, it was a great movie as a kid. The action figures were great. Like, how badass is it to have ninja kangaroos fighting pro wrestlers, X-Men? My wrestling federation was just a crazy sort. G.I. Joe Extremes. I don't know if you've ever heard of those. They're kind of
yeah.
like the LJNs where they're plastic and they don't move except for kind of in the waist. And sometimes the arms move, but otherwise they were a solid plastic figure. That's pretty cool. How many figures you got in your collection total, you think?
Oh geez. I got one. The total amount fills an entire those yellow and black package totes. So
Okay.
probably the 1,000 maybe.
Nice.
Probably
That's not.
over a
I mean, don't
1,000.
be ashamed. I mean, I was
Yeah.
just talking about Ninja Kangaroos. So I mean,
Yeah.
the
I mean,
collecting scene is on
mhm.
fire right now. Back when we were little, they would make fun of us, but now everybody's collecting. I mean, I got my
Nice.
autographed biographies. I got all my first wrestling merchandise back up there. It's embrace it. It's what you love. Continue to do it.
Mhm.
Now you just need to make a custom figure of our favorite, manager out there, Oliver Williams. Again, now accepting bookings. Check him out. Join the mafia. You got to make a custom figure of him.
Yeah. Mafia figure. I don't know.
Jesse's going to turn this episode off after the second one. Like, he's going to keep
Yeah.
doing that bullshit. I'm turning this off. But what's
Song
next
or
for Indie Talk? What are you guys expecting to do going forward in 2024 here in 2025? What do you want to kind of achieve with Indie Talk?
I guess a general plan is just kind of keep doing our thing. Right now, we're doing one show a week on Mondays around 8:15 p.m. Central Time.
Okay.
Keep bringing on indie guys. Keep bringing on some big names. I don't like to bring on too many big names, but I know Jesse and I we have discussions about who to bring on and who not to. Because I mean, all these WWE guys, they got interviews all over the internet. I try
Yeah,
to focus on indie guys. They need their first platform for first
exactly.
interviews
Yep.
and
Yep.
get
And
their
again, you're
name out
giving them a
there.
spot. I mean, take that with pride. If and one thing, people on the internet are going to talk shit. I do all the time. With my podcast buddies, but we're enjoying what we're doing. Keep doing it. If somebody doesn't like it, oh well, it's not about you, it's about me.
Right.
Put that ego chip on your shoulder and just, hey, you don't like it? Well, then don't watch it. Don't comment. Don't waste your breath, because guess what? I'm doing what I love, and you're not going to tell me otherwise. But like I said, it's definitely an interesting things you guys do over there, keeping that indie stuff going, the storylines, and you are a factor on that, and your graphics. That was one thing that you guys stood out. I'm not just, again, blowing smoke up your rear here because you're on the show, but you always had graphics. You had the music to go with it. I thought that was so cool that you asked me, "Hey, what picture do you want to use? What song?" And I was like, "Wow, that's like really like personal approach to that." It gives them more of a creative thing to promote their brand. And in the beginning, I was kind of doing, like you've seen, once again, the Oliver Williams graphics. I was making those specifically for the people when they came on, but it got so tiresome trying to come up with a new idea for each person. So then I just kind of stopped doing that. But yours have always been on point. You got the part 2s, part 3s, so then people know, like, oh, he's already had them on. Let me scroll back into my library. That's what's genius, by the way, and check out that first interview. So you've been doing a lot of, you're like the XFL to the NFL for the indie guys. You've had a lot of great ideas that people are probably stealing from you. So take that with pride. That they should probably give you credit, but you're getting a lot of views on visual, and that's one thing that I'm constantly, like I told you earlier, that I'm constantly looking at to make the production better. So tip your hat, brush your shoulders off, put your chin up, walk into the room proud, man, because you guys are doing good things over there. And like you said, you've had Ken Anderson on. That's a big name from those 2000 eras. Hernandez, big name from TNA back in the day, so anybody gives you shit, man, like I said, just be like, whatever, I'm doing what I want to do, and you can follow me, or you can just get, there's the door, pal. So, but
Right.
you got to get Oliver on more. I will suggest that, so.
Oh, okay.
Taking
Well, I
those
think
cheap
he
shots, buddy.
despises when he asks if we ever want to invite him. He's like, "You guys never show me the correct respect." I'm like, I don't know what we did, man. I think it was when Jesse asked about the system, and I mean, like, the system and Oliver Williams really have no relation. So I can understand that, but I don't think he's ever gotten over that. I'm like, we talk about stuff. We have your buddy Matthias on because Jesse just loves Matthias. I'm like,
He
I
must
guess
not get paid enough, because he still hasn't got any shirts with sleeves on it. So I always bring that up to him. And that's another guy. Like, I just, I clown on the internet, and then I see him at the show, and I'm just like, hope he doesn't recognize me.
Yeah.
I mean, my logo, as you can see, is front and center there. So I mean, it's not hard to like put 2 and 2 together. But lucky for me, I haven't got beat up yet at any of these shows.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, yeah.
But
I think Matthias behind me and tried to chokehold me one time. I was like, oh shit, watch. And this is
you got beat
before,
up at a show. So I mean, you're rubbing elbows literally right with them. Do you do anything
Yeah.
else? Are you part of Ring Crew? Any of that stuff with any of these promotions? Do you do anything else or?
Oh, not officially, but I did help with the ring crew run one time because or actually going back to Freddie Fredrickson, State of Pro Wrestling. He has a podcast, and then last year he got to achieve his biggest dream of promoting his own show, and he wanted all of his friends, all the best in the Midwest, and I was like, and I don't think I'm really gonna have a ride to get there. But Kenny Defiance and Leonard Literacy said, "Hey, I heard you're joining us to be in a car ride going to the show." I'm like, well, at first I was like, I don't think so, but I'm like, well, we'll just be cool about it. Be like, yeah, absolutely, I'm excited. Yeah, pick me up. So, I was like, yeah, agreed to that, and went to the State of Pro Wrestling show last year. And since I rode with the wrestlers and you get there early, I was like, I really don't want to stand around and do nothing. So it's like, do you
Right.
guys help with like the ring or something? And they're like, yeah, if you want to start unloading the boards of the ring and start doing that. So unloaded the boards and then gotten into the ring and twisted the turbuckles and all
Very
that. And
nice. I haven't done that
yeah, I
yet.
got to do that.
I'm just
It's a lot of fun.
lazy.
I was like, wow. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you got to get in the
I'm
ring
too
and start.
busy talking about myself and my stupid podcast.
Yeah. You got to
But
get
I
out
mean, the other
and
thing too, man, you got to ride in the car with wrestlers. Like that means you are in. Like that. I've never done that either. I mean, I've
Mhm.
gotten to go in before pre-show, set up my table. Back when I
Oh,
broke my back, I couldn't really do anything, but the ring was already set up and stuff.
mhm.
But it is so cool to see that other side of something that we love and that we're included in that space. I know, like Pete King gives you a hard time about not showing up to All Out Pro or getting to hang out with MAW. I've done with How and BZW. I'm hoping to keep doing those now that our wedding stuff is done. The winter's closing up, and anytime you want to link up, man, and just promote your stuff, bring it over to my table. I'll sling that merch for you. That type of stuff. I'm here to help, bro. So, anything you want to plug real quick before we get you out of here? And then we definitely got to get you and Jesse on here for a part 2. Maybe we can
Yeah.
bring our favorite friend and my best friend, Oliver Williams. That's right. I got to keep plugging our boy there. But anything you want to plug here, and we'll wrap this up here for us.
Yeah, actually, I got a lot of stuff. I think, let's see if I can remember it off the top of my head. Facebook wise, I got a generic wrestling Facebook page. It's just literally my name, Jeryn, POJERYNPIEHL. So got that. I got the Indie Talk page, of course, Indie Talk with Jesse and Jeryn on Facebook. And we just started this a couple months ago. Indie Talk Clips, trying to be viral, trying to create those viral moments, like kind of like Chris Van Vliet and Logan Paul with all their clips
Gonna
they're
do a
doing.
quick
So,
pause real quick there. You got 5 million views on a video, right?
absolutely, yeah.
Yes,
I'm
plug
super
that.
popular.
Do not forget to tell everybody you got 5 million on I'm excited just telling people about it. So
Yeah.
start that over again. Let's talk about Indie Clips. What happened on Indie Clips?
Oh man, we're just going viral on Indie Talk clips, man. We got going back to the originals, trying to post all those viral moments like Jerry Ulricher kidnapping the system, Stonehenge talking about his training with Eddie Sharkey and Terry Fox. What else did I post on there? Some funny stuff. Eventually I'll post the story. It's kind of like my own documentary of me getting super kicked by Rampage Santana, which I have not letting go, even though that was 2023. That'll be on there eventually. So
We'll have to make you a t-shirt.
yeah, Rampage kicking me in the face, man.
I survived Rampage Super Kick.
The podcast. So so Facebook, Instagram, I got my generic wrestling account, the_phenomenal_figures, and then indie talk show, or indie_talk_show, and then indie talk clips as well, indie_talk_clips. We're even on TikTok. I decided to go on there. I got my wrestling account. I believe it's Phenomenal Figures 55. And then the Indie Talk is Indie Talk Show, and then Indie Talk clips on there as well. And then YouTube is just Indie Talk with Jesse and Jeryn, and then Indie Talk clips. I don't have a generic wrestling face or YouTube account, just the Indie Talk stuff on there. So
Gotcha.
that is what I got for social medias. Go follow those.
And people are probably thinking that's overkill, but what Jeryn is doing, folks, is he's getting his content everywhere. And content is key, and content is king. Again, you got your foot right on that gas pedal, Jeryn. Again, you guys are doing great things over there. Keep it up. Keep getting your name out there. Like I said, off camera, there's a couple friends of mine, pun intended, reach out, get your guys' name out there even further. I mean, again, 5 million views. 5 million views. How many people can say they got over 100,000 views? I haven't. So, I mean, that is incredible. Honestly, you should get a shirt that says, I've achieved 5 million views. What have you done? I mean, I brag about it, man. Like, dig into people, be like, Oliver Williams, what did you do? Oh, I got 5 million views, Oliver. What have you done this weekend? Oh, that's right. Talk smack about Indie Talk. I live rent free in your head. Don't tell myself that. Don't watch this part, Oliver. I'm sorry. But that is Jeryn from Indie Talk, folks. I am Crander Q, aka my real name, the host of Friends of the Squared Circle here. If you want to be just like Jeryn and get into coming on a future episode, let us know. Hit us up on Facebook. We are on YouTube as well. That's kind of where we focus most of our stuff. And Jeryn, anything else for the world out there?
Buy our merch, guys. Bully Brand Clothing Company sells our t-shirts. We still have a couple of the white t-shirts. I got a couple of those on hand here. We got, I think, small, medium, and large with me currently on that I have currently. But Bully Brand, they're selling stuff if you want to message them. And eventually, I believe Bully Brand did say different colors that Indie Talk shirts will be available. So black, red, orange. He said no rainbow or flannel or anything like that. He's just going to do solid colors and merchandise.
I want a flannel.
Get some more stuff on there. You want a flannel?
That's all I wear usually.
Oh, yeah. He also said no polka dot. I'm like, polka dot would look kind of cool. Maybe. I don't know.
That'd be like an honor to Dusty Rhodes. What are you doing, Bully Brand?
That's true.
Check them out on Facebook as well. They're doing great things over there as well. You can dive into more of their stuff by checking them out on Facebook at Bully Brand. But Jeryn, thank you for coming on. Thank you for being a friend of the Squared Circle. And if you didn't know it already, I'm Crander Q, and it's Crander Q out.
Yeah.